Everyone asks me the same question about the Bronco. What year should I buy? I don't think that's actually the right question, and it took me a while working on these to figure out why. I used to answer it the same way everybody else does, point at a year and move on. Then I started seeing the pattern up close. On a Bronco, the model year only gets you through the front door. What actually happened to that specific truck, the parts it got built with, the fixes it did or didn't already receive, that's what decides whether you made a smart purchase or an expensive one. Two Broncos with the same badge on the back can be completely different trucks underneath. I'm RJ. 20 years working on Fords. Today, the Bronco years I'd personally be careful with, why even the best year isn't automatically a safe buy on its own, and the one I'd actually go looking for with my own money. The Bronco came back in 2021 to more excitement than almost any Ford launch I can remember. People waited years for this truck to come back. Dealers couldn't keep them on the lot. Some buyers paid huge markups just to get one that same year instead of waiting for the next allocation. Everybody wanted one, badly, which is exactly why the early problems hurt as much as they did. This wasn't some low-volume, niche vehicle nobody was watching. Ford learned a lot that year, and mostly the hard way, because a brand new platform always teaches a manufacturer things testing alone never catches. That's not a knock on Ford specifically. Every new platform from every brand goes through this. It's just that the Bronco went through it in public, with a few 100,000 excited buyers watching. If you're looking at an early 2.7, ask about the engine first, before you even think about color or trim. A batch of these, built mainly in the back half of that first year, had an intake valve problem serious enough that the engine could crack a valve and leave you stranded on the side of the road with zero warning. Ford caught it, and they've been replacing the affected engines under a recall. But you need to know if the specific truck sitting in front of you was ever part of that population. Ask straight. Has the engine recall been done on this one? If the seller doesn't know, or gets a confused look on their face, that tells you everything you need to know without opening the hood. I had one owner bring his 2.7 in convinced it needed new ignition coils. Rough idle. Occasional misfire. It wasn't the coils. That valve had already started letting go, and the misfire was the first warning sign before it got worse. The roof gave people trouble too, and this one's worth taking seriously rather than treating as cosmetic. Early hardtops, mostly the ones built that first year, started cracking and peeling faster than they should have. And on a small number of trucks, pieces of the roof actually separated at highway speed. That's not a rattle or a squeak. That's a piece of the vehicle coming off while somebody's driving behind you. Ford's replacing these under recall now. Before you get excited about any early Bronco, spend 5 minutes actually looking the roof over in person, front to back, checking for cracks, bubbling, or anything that looks like it's starting to lift at the edges. I had a customer chase a wind noise for months. New seals twice. Turned out it was never the seals at all. It was the roof itself starting to lift at one corner. Just enough to whistle at highway speed, and not enough to notice standing still. And if it rained on you inside the cabin the first winter you owned one of these, you weren't imagining it. Water found its way in around the windshield frame on a lot of early trucks, dripping down onto the dash or the floor after hard rain. Ford fixed the seal design, but I'd still run a hose over one before I signed anything, especially around the top corners of the windshield where owners reported it most. None of that makes a 2021 a bad truck to own today. I've had clean 2021s come through my shop past 100,000 miles, running fine, no drama at all. It's just the year with the most separate things you personally have to verify before you hand over money. And that's a lot to ask on somebody's first Bronco purchase. Notice what's happened already. None of these problems are things you can spot from 30 feet away. They're the kind of things you check before you hand somebody $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. That's exactly why we built the Ford Buyer and Owner's Guide. This is literally the checklist I'd carry if I were flying across the country to buy one myself. Every engine, every generation, the problems worth worrying about and the ones that aren't. It's live now at fordscope.com. By 2023, Ford had worked through most of what made that first year nerve-wracking. The roof supplier fixed their process. The 2.7 engine problem was well behind them. This truck had 2 full years of real owners driving it in real conditions, in real weather, over real trails, and Ford had 2 years to act on what that feedback showed them. That kind of maturity matters more on a brand new platform than it does on a truck Ford's been building for 20 years, because the early growing pains are so much bigger. That's usually where I'd just tell you to go buy one and stop reading. But then Ford surprised me again. A narrow batch of the 4-cylinder engines that year had a manufacturing problem serious enough that Ford replaced the entire engine on the trucks affected. It's not common, and every truck it happened to already got a brand new engine under the program, which honestly isn't the worst outcome for a buyer if it's already been done. But you check for it the same way as always. Ask if the truck's ever had engine work done under a Ford program. And if you're not sure, run the VIN yourself before you get attached to it. If you're looking at a manual Bronco from any of these years, one more thing worth knowing. A cold morning grinding or scraping sound right when you first put it in gear. It's a documented issue with the manual transmission, and it's shown up across several model years, not just one. It's fixable, and Ford's got a repair for it, but it's one more reason I personally lean toward the automatic when I'm buying used. Less to inspect, less to worry about. I've had more than one owner swear the transmission was coming apart on a cold morning. Warm it up, drive it 5 minutes, the noise disappears. Doesn't mean it's nothing, but it's not the transmission dying either. 2023 isn't a perfect Bronco. No Bronco is, but it's the first year where what's left to check fits on one hand instead of both. The newer trucks aren't bad. I want to be clear about that because it's easy to hear all this and assume newer is automatically riskier on a Bronco. That's not the lesson here. A 2024 or a 2025 just hasn't had the same time on the road that a 2023 has. Some of what shows up on a truck at 80,000 miles hasn't had the chance to show up yet on the newest ones, good or bad, simply because the miles haven't accumulated. I'm not telling you to avoid them, I'm telling you they're still writing their own story, and given the choice between 2 trucks I can't fully judge yet, I'd rather buy the chapter that's already finished. One more thing that applies no matter which year you land on, and it's recent enough that a lot of sellers won't even know about it yet. Ford just recalled nearly every Bronco on the road all the way back to 2021 for a wiring problem under the hood that can wear through over time and short out. It's a straightforward, free fix at any dealer, but it's not tied to one specific year like everything else we've covered today. It's tied to almost all of them, old and new. Check it regardless of what year you end up buying, because this is the one that doesn't care which chapter of the story your truck belongs to. People spend weeks trying to figure out the perfect Bronco year. The truth is there isn't one. There are only Broncos that have already been through the problems, and Broncos still waiting to introduce you to theirs. So if you just want the answer, here it is. If it were my own money, I'd start looking at a late build 2023 Bronco, the 2.7 paired with the automatic. By that point, Ford had already paid for the expensive early lessons on somebody else's truck, not yours, and it isn't carrying the unknowns that come with anything brand new off the line. That combination gets you the most capable engine option without the specific launch year baggage attached to it. But before you hand anyone money on any year, do 3 things. Run the VIN and confirm every recall and repair program on it has actually been completed, not just promised by a seller who says it's fine. Cold start it yourself and take it on a real test drive, listening for anything that doesn't sound right in those first few minutes before the engine's fully warm. And Walk the roof and the rear glass with your own eyes before you fall in love with the color or the wheels. Do those 3 things, and you'll already know more about the truck in front of you than most Bronco buyers ever bother to find out. And if I actually bought one tomorrow, here's exactly what I'd do that first week. Run the VIN again on my own at home, not just take a dealer's word for it. Pull the tires off and get it on a lift somewhere and look at the underside myself instead of trusting a photo. Take it through a car wash or park it outside during the next real rain and watch the headliner for the first sign of a drip. None of that costs anything but time, and it's the difference between finding a problem on your terms in week 1 or finding it on the truck's terms 6 months down the road. If this video helped you keep a little more money in your pocket and you'd like to support the channel, hit the join button below. I'll see you in the next one.